Well, let's get into this. I've been told several times.
Eileen Maria Marty, a former naval officer and professor at Florida International University.
Listen to this shit.
Five wealthy men on... Did they die instantly, or was it a long and slow agony? What happens to the human body during an underwater implosion?
You gotta admit, that shit would have imploded like a can. Like a tin can, I'm telling you, it would have imploded like a can.
8 o'clock in the morning, when about 740 kilometers from the coast of the Canadian island of Newfoundland, the submersible Titan plunges into the waters of the North Atlantic Ocean to observe the wreck of the Titanic, lying on the ocean floor at a depth of 3810 meters. A tourist expedition to closely observe the remains of the well-known British liner, which sank on the night between 14 and 15 April 1912 following a collision with an iceberg, killing over 1,500 people. 5 wealthy men on board, including the British billionaire Hamish Harding, the French explorer Paul-Henri Nargeolet, considered one of the world's leading experts on the Titanic, the Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood, with his son Suleiman, and finally Stockton Rush, pilot of the submersible Titan, as well as CEO and founder of OceanGate, American tour company that owns the Titan.
He went in with those fools? Alexa, did the CEO of OceanGate die?
From Insider.com, OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush was recently added to a Wikipedia list of inventors killed by their inventions.
That's crazy as hell. So he gonna go along with their ass? That don't make no damn sense.
A journey into the abyss called...
I don't know about all that.
$250,000 per person. A unique experience reserved for rich people, ready to risk their lives and challenge the Titanic's curse. A small submersible built in carbon fiber and titanium, capable of accommodating up to 5 people, including the pilot, and guaranteeing the sufficient oxygen reserve for 96 hours. It is approximately 6 meters and 70 long, 2 meters and 80 wide, and 2 meters
they were
and
playing
50
music
high.
on their last.
With a weight of about 10
like,
tons,
you know what?
it is able to reach 4,000 meters of depth. On June 18, 2023, however, something does
There's
not
no
go as
way.
it should. 1 hour and 45 minutes after
There's
the
no way
dive
that
of the
they're all
Titan,
playing music
that is when it
as
had almost reached the wreck. The communications between the submersible and the Polar Prince suddenly stopped. Canadian flagship from which the Titan was launched. Thus begins a real race against time to search for the submersible lost in the depths of the ocean and bring it back to the surface in the hope of saving the 5 passengers. A research area of 26,000 square kilometers, which required an enormous mobilization of numerous means from different countries, including planes, drones, submarines, underwater robots, ships, and highly advanced research systems. 4 days of research for $6.5 million, which ended in the worst possible way. On June 22, at a press conference in Boston, the United States Coast Guard says that the robot used to search for the Titan has found 5 wreckage of the submersible about 500 meters from the bow of the Titanic. A catastrophic implosion of the Titan's pressure chamber, resulting in the deaths of all 5 passengers. On the internet, we can find numerous articles and videos explaining what happened to the Titan from a technical point of view. It is also inevitable to wonder what happened to the 5 passengers of the submersible. Did they die instantly, or was it a long and slow agony? What happens to the human body during an underwater implosion? Let's try to answer this question. 2 theories have been advanced about the death of the 5 passengers. First theory, lack of oxygen. As the amount of oxygen available in the submersible decreases, the human body begins to suffer. Hypoxemia occurs, which is a pathological condition in which the oxygen levels in the arterial blood decrease. The cause is alveolar hypoventilation, a disorder in which the gaseous exchanges that take place in the lungs, in particular between the blood present in the capillaries and the air contained in the pulmonary alveoli, are reduced, or even worse, impossible. This increases the concentration of non-oxygenated hemoglobin in the blood, so the skin and mucous membranes will begin to take on a bluish-purple color. At the same time, the levels of carbon dioxide in the blood increase, a major waste product of cellular metabolic processes. In this case, we speak of hypercapnia, and the subject enters into hyperventilation. It is difficult to breathe, and there is what is called dyspnea, or air hunger. The body enters a state of generalized hypoxia, a clinical condition in which oxygen deficiency affects the tissues of the entire body. The first to be affected are the nervous tissues, in particular the brain, the visual and auditory systems. The human body thus enters a state of alert and begins to increase heart rate and respiratory rate in order to try to ensure greater oxygenation of the tissues. Confusion, seizures, and loss of consciousness are all possible consequences. Once the 96 hours are over, and therefore the amount of oxygen in the submersible is completely finished, the passengers develop anoxia, where, unlike hypoxia, there is a complete lack of oxygen. In just 3 to 4 minutes, all organs are irreversibly damaged, such as the brain, heart, and lungs, and death occurs within 5 to 7 minutes of complete impediment of breathing. Second theory. Underwater implosion. According to experts, the Titan submersible was subjected to a pressure of almost 400 kilograms for each square centimeter, a value hundreds of times higher than the pressure normally recorded on the surface. During the implosion, the walls of the submersible were subjected to a greater external pressure than the internal one, for which they suddenly gave way, and the result was a collapse of the submersible, a crushing on itself. Imagine taking a can and crushing it with your foot.
Right.
This is the effect of the implosion that killed the people on board the submersible. For better understanding, watch this video. Here you can see the effect of imploding a steel tank at a pressure of 1 atmosphere. The Titan would have imploded at a depth of about 3,500 meters, where the pressure is at least 350 atmospheres, therefore 350 times higher than what can be seen in the video. Did the 5 passengers notice the implosion? Did they feel pain or sensed that they were about to die? To answer these questions, we must first consider 2 very important parameters. The first is that according to a study conducted by a group of neuroscientists at MIT in Boston, it takes only 13 milliseconds for the human brain to identify an entire image. The second instead is the response time. That is the time that elapses between the moment in which the nervous system is subjected to a stimulus and the moment in which the human body responds to this stimulus, following the elaboration of the information from the brain. In humans, this response time to visual stimuli is typically between 150 and 300 milliseconds. According to Aileen Maria Marty, a former naval officer and professor at Florida International University, a catastrophic implosion is incredibly rapid, occurring in a fraction of a millisecond at the incredible speed of 800 kilometers per hour. It is therefore such a short time that it did not allow the brain of the passengers of the Titan to process the information and consequently to perceive pain or to realize that they were about to die. The entire structure of the submersible would therefore have collapsed before the individuals inside could realize that there was a problem, even if according to the first reconstructions the passengers would perhaps have noticed that the hull was about to give way during the descent. According to this theory, the creaks of the hull of the submersible, a moment before the implosion, would have anticipated to the passengers that their end was imminent. Among the many ways in which one can die, this would still seem painless. In a fraction of a millisecond, organs are crushed, bones shattered, and the extreme pressure difference rapidly heats the air inside the submersible, causing passengers to incinerate and die instantly. The violence violence of the implosion therefore makes the hypothesis of recovering the bodies of the victims implausible. Despite this,
When the fuck
research
do you
will
think it's gonna
continue,
learn?
also with the aim of identifying other remains of the submersible and collecting further elements to clarify what really happened in the depths of the Atlantic Ocean. This dramatic story with a tragic epilogue opens up several questions about the actual safety of the Titan, the poor materials with which the submersible appears to have been built, and the lack of certification checks. The submersible disaster has divided.
I mean, honestly, I think that's what that bastard gets, really. He wanted to, I mean, I get it. You want shit now and all that other shit. But, like, he wanted to rush shit so fucking bad and take a whole bunch of ego and a whole bunch of credit for some shit that honestly shouldn't have been done in the fucking first place. Because they told his ass back in 2018 that this shit was unsafe and he's gonna get a lot of people killed. And he's like, oh, I don't want to hear about people getting killed or people talking about safety modifications. I'm like, then how the hell do you expect to keep the money flowing in and all this other shit for people to actually, rich people to go there and fucking keep the fucking money flowing? You should, because the man should have fucking put modifications, done the right safety checks and all this other shit for this fucking shit, and maybe none of these people would have died.
Between those who join in the pain for the loss of 5 human lives and those who consider it a normal consequence of the risk that the passengers of the Titan have consciously chosen to run. There is also controversy over the enormous mobilization of men and equipment that this desperate race against
And who the
time
fuck
required.
wants to do that shit on a goddamn gaming controller? How he showed that shit, I'm like, how the hell are people taking him seriously?
Which cost over $6
I wouldn't be able to take him seriously. I'm like, you gonna tell me this whole thing?
The law of the sea is between rich and poor,
done by a goddamn gaming controller.
looking for adventures and strong emotions, and migrants looking for a new life.
I couldn't trust that. No.
And how do you think about it? Let me know below in the comments.
This shit is ridiculous.
You were told that the 5 passengers of the Titan passed away instantly from the implosion.
Yeah.
And this is true, but if you were wondering just how instant we're talking about,
how instant?
Let me explain. It takes our brain 100 milliseconds to process pain, and it takes our eyes 13 milliseconds to process visually. So when the Titan imploded, the high pressure caused the entire event to take less than 1 millisecond. This means it was truly an instant lights out for the victims. You were told that the...
I thought they always fucking...
Now you've probably heard about the Titan submersible and the terrible fate of its 5 passengers.
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
Many have speculated about what happened to the victims, and it seems that there is plenty of confusion surrounding.
Stop being afraid to open your mouth and testify to the Lord.
See, so nobody wants to testify to the goddamn Lord right now.
You know, we can go back to that scripture. If you deny me before men, I will deny you before my Father in heaven.
See, so I bet you know a lot about opening up your mouth, don't you? Because you're an MFer.
Don't deny Jesus.
I deny you, Satan. Shit. And that's
Let the
what
Holy
you are.
Spirit get you where you need to be.
You're a demon of some sort, Cecil. From hell. And that's exactly where the fuck you're gonna end up in these final days.
He can. He will. And he
Like a
does.
fucking fire.
You just ain't have to pay attention to it. Leads back to the question I asked at the beginning of the message.
What was that? Thanks a lot, asshole.
How many of you
Taking down my fucking comment.
have been having a conversation
Those people are kissing your ass.
about
That's the
fixing
only
trouble
fucking time. The only
or
fucking
making
time
money?
your ass accepts anything on that goddamn
Before you
live,
know it-
on that goddamn stream, or on the goddamn comments.
You neck deep in a biblical conversation.
But don't worry. What's today? I'm gonna get
You
your
got
ass
no
tomorrow.
clue
I'm gonna get my
as to
24.
how you got there.
You hear that, motherfucker?
Oh,
I'm gonna
gotta
get
get
my
out of it.
24 tomorrow. And I hope you watch this video, Cecil. With your fucking stupid ass congregation calling me all the damn time. You think I'm stupid? I know they following me. How the fuck are you gonna say people reporting back to Tom Friend, going on your channel and reporting back to Tom Friend? Well, that's exactly what your congregation does. Whenever somebody in society does something that your ass don't like, and then you talk about it. I picked Tom Friend over your damn ministry. I'm gonna go subscribe to him right now.
That's the Holy Ghost, folks.
I'm gonna go subscribe to him right now. And what the fuck
I
are
do
you eating?
apologize for having to do this morning.
Always chewing something on your goddamn live streams.
But I wasn't able to eat very much of my supper last night. And my sugar dropped. It offends some people when I do, Shannon.
I'm offended already, Cecil, and I mean it. I'm offended.
They call me a Uroni.
English. Alexa, what is a Uroni?
Neuron is a noun meaning a specialized, impulse-conducting cell that is the functional unit of the nervous system.
Alexa, what is a Uroni?
Neuron is a noun meaning a specialized,
Alexa,
impulse-conducting cell.
Every single
Shut
one
that
of
off.
us has the opportunity to be a mouthpiece in the testimony machine for the Lord. Because every single one of us, there's not a person in this chat, not one, that hasn't been through some stuff that God got you through. And you can talk about that. You can share what God has brought you through
Oh, I can?
with others, and it'll give them hope that maybe God can help them get through what they're going through.
Okay, hold on.
See, that's the thing about